Okay, so welcome to this video on the imperfect tense. This is going to be a continuation of the explanation video I already posted. In this one, we're going to take sentences that are in English in the past simple tense and then translate them just to the imperfect tense. So right now, we're really trying to just focus on the imperfect tense and make sure we have a good understanding of it. So same kind of gist as always. I'm going to read in English. I'll pause, take a second, try and write it out in Spanish, and then we'll see how you did. So first one, I eat pizza every day. All right, so for this one, the verb is comer. And then, like I said, we could say comía, but we don't know now who comía would be referring to. It could be yo, it could be él, it could be ella. So for that reason, we have to put yo. Whoops, yo. Comía pizza todos los días. And that is going to be I ate pizza every day. Number two, she used to be very shy. Okay, so this one, Sarah star, is going to be ser. And remember, ser is one of the three irregular verbs. So ella era muy tímida. There you go. She used to be, or she was, very shy. So again, whenever we use that used to be, it's going to be the imperfect. So we see used to be, we think used to be. When we translate to Spanish, we use the imperfect. Ella era muy tímida. Número tres. You used to read very interesting books. All right, so the verb here is leer. And it's going to be to. There's our used to again. To leías. Oops, we shouldn't do capital. Leías libros muy interesantes. In leías, perfect. And then libros interesantes. Remember, the adjective is plural because it's more than one book. So we maintain that plurality throughout the sentence. Tu leías libros muy interesantes. You used to read very interesting books. Número cuatro, number four. He ran in the park every morning. All right. So here we have correr is the verb, and we're going to put corría. But again, this is a él, ella, usted, so we have to put the subject. So él corría en el parque cada mañana, and that's what va a ser mañana. Perfect. Él corría and then mañana. Great. So he ran the park every morning. And you're seeing how, like, the preterite tense, it was a one-time thing, done and done. But this guy, he was running the park every morning for a while. There's no real definitive end date on it. I know it's the past tense, but there's no concreteness to it, right? It's a continuation in the past tense. So for that reason, we're using the imperfect. Número cinco. We lived in a big house when I was young. All right, so here I know what you're thinking, right? Well, this one, it's kind of specific with time. It's when I was young, so why are we using the imperfect? Well, remember what I said. When we're talking about age, time, all of those things, we use the imperfect, okay? And then we lived in a big house. There's a long time in the past when we were living in a big house, right? So we lived in a big house when I was young. Is going to be vivíamos en una casa grande cuando yo era joven. All right. And so vivíamos gets that. Oh, grande. Grande. So vivíamos en una casa cuando yo era grande. The verb right there is vivir. And then we have our ser again. So I was young is going to be ser. Era is the irregular. All right. Number six. They would talk a lot in class. Okay, so here we have would, but is would being used in the past tense? Remember, there's two times we use would. It's conditional, where it could happen or it couldn't happen. I would go to school, but I don't want to, right? Conditionally, I don't want to, so I'm not going to school. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Here, we're talking about would in the past tense. Because it's that past tense, it's going to be the imperfect. So they would talk a lot in class. Ellos. The verb is hablar. Hablar, hablaban entonces, or then, talk, hablaban mucho en clase. Ellos hablaban mucho en clase. All right? So, hablar is an AR, it gets that aban ending. Number 7, I went to the gym every Tuesday. Okay, so this is also one of our irregulars. The verb is ir. So it's yo iba al gimnasio cada martes. All right, and that's I went to the gym every Tuesday, right? There's continuation of it. It's not just one Tuesday, it's every Tuesday. Back in the day, I went to the gym. Numero ocho, you were my best friend. Okay, so this one is going to be two. Eras, we have ser again, so were past tense for to be. This is the past simple, would be were. Breaking it down into the imperfect, tú eres mi mejor amigo. Could be amiga, depends if it was a boy or a girl. I'm just going to use amigo because, a lot of my friends from back in the day were boys, so amigo. Número nueve, we played soccer after school. Okay, so for this one, it's jugar is the verb. It's another AR, so it's going to be jugábamos fútbol después de la escuela. All right, let's just give those the tildes they need. So remember in the AR, nosotros, it gets the tilde over the A, so it's not jugábamos, it's jugábamos fútbol después de la escuela. Number 10, I drank coffee before work. Okay, so for this one, I drank, to drink, es beber. Sometimes the people say as well, tomar, but we're going to use beber here just to get our ER in. So I drank would be yo. Well, there you go. Yo bebía café antes del trabajo. All right, and we have our tilde and tilde. Cool. So I drank coffee before work. This is something I did a lot in the past. Yo bebía café antes del trabajo. I was drinking coffee every day before work. Número 11, we walked together to the bus stop. So this is going to be nosotros. And then the verb to walk is caminar. So we're going caminábamos a la parada del bus. All right, caminábamos receives the tilde. So again, we're the ones in the past. We're using the imperfect there. And that nosotros, the A gets the tilde. Okay? Number 12. Whoa, poor spacing right here. Jeez. All right, number 12. I spent all day and night practicing. Okay, cool. So the verb here is going to be pasar. And remember, because it's the yo, we're going to put yo here. So yo pasaba todo el día y la noche practicando. All right, so yo pasaba todo el día gets a tilde. Pasaba, there's no tilde. All day and night practicing. Ando, practicing. Numero 13, number 13. You were writing in your notebook. Okay, so I threw this one in there. I thought it'd be a little fun. Two options, really, and I think both are, kind of equally correct here. So the verb is escribir. Right? So puedes poner, puedes poner, you can put escribías en tu cuaderno. Escribías gets a tilde. Oh, I just totally buffed, whatever, that's fine. You know what I meant. Because I'm excited to show you this other one. So now, that works just fine, but we have here were. And if you're thinking in English, translating to Spanish, sometimes it's easier to go word for word. So this word is going to be estar. So it would be tú estabas, then. Estabas escribiendo en tu cuaderno. Cuaderno. So that's kind of a fun one because it can be the imperfect. You could also say it as the past progressive and you would get along just fine. So either one really kind of works here. As I said in the video, a lot of times Spanish speakers are going to use just the imperfect. It comes off a little more natural for them, especially when we're saying, you were writing in your notebook when someone called your name. Okay, that interruption, you're kind of setting the scene of like you were writing in your notebook and it was an action that you were doing, and then it was interrupted. So the past progressive could be used there as well. Again, you'll be understood, and that's kind of our goal here is to be understood while we're talking, while we're speaking to other people in Spanish. So, tú estabas escribiendo en tu cuaderno o escribías, I'm sorry, that was the conditional, escribías en tu cuaderno as well works for the imperfect. Number 14, he would watch television at night. So we have here él, and then the verb is going to be ver here. I want to throw in another irregular your way. So él veía televisión cada noche. So every night he was watching the television. So this one should also get a tilde, perfect. Every night. Oh, and the L gets one as well. Remember, L gets a tilde because we're talking about a person, not the word the. So to demonstrate it's a person, it gets the tilde. Él veía televisión cada noche. And then the last one. You were happy when you were a child. Okay, so for this one, it's going to be ser again for both of them. So tú eres muy contento. Oh, contenta también. So contenta. I'm sorry. Contenta would be if it was femenina, if it was a woman. Tú eres muy contento cuando eres un niño. Now, the important thing here is if we're saying contento with an O at the end, that means it is referring to a boy or masculino. So for that reason, you have to end with O for niño. It wouldn't be niña. All right, let's go back on up. Check it all out. Make sure you got them all. Cool. And then like always, next steps, it's time, go interact with some Spanish, watch some basic TV, read some children's books, do whatever you can do to put yourself around the imperfect tense more, and it'll start to make way more sense to you as you are interacting with the language more. As always, if there are any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for coming out. Have a good rest of your day.